This is Mayor Dennis Donohue, and I'm excited for our guest today. We're getting ready to celebrate in a Small Business Appreciation Week, and Alexis from La Papa is really a great example of some of the very creative entrepreneurial activity we've got going on in the city. So, Alexis, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I'm really excited to be here. It's my first time doing something like this, and it's really an honor to have the pleasure to do it with you.
Well, no, I was excited when you agreed. I mean, because from what I hear, you've got quite the following with La Papa.
Oh, we got a little bit of followers, and I've been going on social media more and doing little dances and TikToks and stuff. Trying to be more relevant and stuff. So.
We'll talk about that. But one of the things I'm interested in, because and you probably have a good feel of this, given your age and what you're doing. There really is a lot of entrepreneurial small business activity. It seems like there's either a renaissance, a revitalization, or for whatever reason, there's just a lot of activity right now.
Yeah, I think there's a boom, and I think I started like early on in it, and then a lot of the like small business stuff is relatively like cheaper to get into the business. Like when you have a tent and a pop up, it's more affordable to get into business and stuff instead of having to get like a location and stuff where it could cost you like over $100,000 to get
Right.
started. So, I think it's great though. I think especially like in other like back in like Mexico and stuff, everybody kind of works for themselves in one shape or form. So I think it's very beneficial to everybody's
Well,
economy.
and you're a good Salinas native, so talk a little bit about your background and then how you got to uh, thinking about getting into this particular business because I love your commitment to the cause. But tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh yeah, of course. Born and raised here in Salinas, Memorial Hospital, and went to school locally at Cameron Elementary. Went there my since kinder to sixth grade. Then after that, I went to Hardin Middle School. That's where my entrepreneurial, I guess, journey started. I was selling candy out of my backpack. I even took like a 12 pack of sodas one time, which is a big mistake. Very heavy in the backpack. Do not
Okay,
recommend.
noted for the record.
Yeah, and then I didn't really know. And then I sold like duct tape wallets, things that were trending, like duct tape wallets were trending at one point. I was selling them for like $5. And then I don't know, I must have done something else too. And then, always legal stuff. And then
Okay.
um, and then after that in high school, I started fixing phones, like broken screens and stuff, just because I couldn't afford a brand new phone. So I went and bought my own phone, watched YouTube videos, and fixed it, turned on, and actually sold it and bought another one, and then another one. And then I just started like,
So instead of flipping houses, you were flipping
yeah, I
phones.
was flipping phones. Yeah, early on when the like iPhone 4.
Okay.
And that'll probably date me on how old I am and stuff, but I'm not
Okay.
too old.
Yeah. And where'd
Uh,
you go to high school? You,
North
I
Salinas
was
High
going to
School.
say you're a
Yeah,
Viking.
yeah, it's
Okay.
North Salinas High School. Proud Viking.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I don't get to go back too much, but hopefully they reach out and we can help them out because we do a lot of like fundraising and stuff. So
Well,
always try.
from what I can tell, they like to have events there, and there are vendors there, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's worth making a call.
cool. Yeah, yeah. So I fixed phones before the potato thing. I knew it wasn't something that I wanted to do forever. It was just something to get me by, and then the baked potato thing came about, and I just dropped everything and fully committed to it till this day.
So why baked potatoes? I mean, obviously you were probably observant of the whole food truck scene, and was that just they attracted you, or did you kind of view that as a market opportunity?
When I came about it, it was very like a low key thing. Like I didn't even know that it was a thing until I got introduced to like by a friend that I had made, and I saw like how fast the serve. Like one thing, the service was fast, and like the turnaround and just the operation was very simple. Also because I had experience in the kitchen before, and I would not want to work in a full kitchen. Honestly, like it's just not for me. It's too much. But this business model is very very simple, and I mean now that we've grown so much, it's far from simple for me. I don't even I'm underqualified for whatever I'm doing now, but just going with the fun, rolling with the punches and learning as I go every day.
So, talk about a couple of things.
Yeah.
Talk about because I know I was intrigued when I first, uh, encountered um, your products.
Hmm.
Baked potatoes and roasted corn. So,
Yeah.
why that combination? And then, and then obviously you have great presence and good following at the soccer complex. But where else do you show up?
We could find us anywhere in Monterey County and South County too, like from King City. Actually, I just came back from Paso Robles like 2 weeks ago, so we drove pretty far all the way up to San Jose. The Bay. We've been hitting the Bay Area too. We do a lot of business in Gilroy, especially here in Salinas. We're at the soccer complex every weekend. That's been a great partnership for the past like 5 years since they
Okay.
reopened and got new management and stuff. So the soccer complex has been growing tremendously, and we've been part of the journey. So it's been great.
And why baked potatoes and corn? That why
Oh,
that
that's
combination?
so actually it all started with the vendors here in downtown, the downtown farmers market here, Anna's Corn. They're the ones that kind of showed me
Oh,
the
okay.
ropes and stuff. I actually started it with their son, which we weren't making any money, so he decided to pursue another career, and then I was already like a year into marketing in this thing and branding it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going, and so and that's where it started. Really was inspiration from them and their
Right, right.
family. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that and as I told you when I wanted, I had my first encounter with La Papa, uh, you blew my diet. Those are big potatoes. So talk about your product. I mean, it isn't just a small potato with some stuff.
Oh, no, no, yeah, yeah. So I'd say it's a full complete meal. A lot of people can't even finish it. But yeah, it's a very simple food too. It only has like really 6 to 7 ingredients depending on what you're putting on there, and so I think it's very versatile too, because since we make everything to order, everybody can take stuff off or put on whatever they like really, and the corn is just like ties into our Mexican roots where we sell like traditional elote and esquites, with the butter, mayo, cheese, and stuff. So yeah, that's where the potatoes and the corn come from. Yeah.
Well, what I was struck by with our during our first visit was there is no plan B. You're committed to this.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did mention that. Yeah, no, there's been a lot of like ups and downs and obstacles to go over, and yeah, like you said, like there's no plan B. We just figuring out how to keep moving forward and growing and right now we're finishing up our first food truck, which is I'm not gonna stop doing the tents or anything like that, but we're expanding towards like Santa Clara County and stuff now with our first food truck, and I'm excited. I have no idea what it has, like what it's gonna bring. I hope more success because I have a couple more trucks lined up. We just got to get the
Well,
first one
that's what I
rolling.
was going to ask you. I mean, in terms of looking at the future, uh, is the idea to get to X amount of trucks, and then because right now, how many people do you have working for you?
Right now we like regularly we have like about 4 or 5, but we've reached up to like 12 people depending on the how busy the season is. Especially
Okay.
like this last December, we were at Christmas in the Park in San Jose, and we went kind of viral, which was a first time for me. Like, it was unbelievable, really. Like people posted it. We got like hundreds of thousands of views, and before we opened, there'd be a huge line, and I had never, I couldn't, but like we were like 2 3 weeks into it, and still couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe like so many people were looking for us and stuff. So, I actually went to a food truck expo, and this guy was talking about he was about to open his 100th truck, but they're franchising them. So like
Okay.
it really like opened my eyes to the possibilities. So either we could go towards franchising, or start a fleet of our own and just manage all of them. So I really don't, I'm not like stuck on any one decision, but definitely grow, whichever path allows us to grow.
So the business opportunities or modeling are you can just have a truck and you do your thing,
Yeah.
or you have a fleet, or you begin to think about franchising.
Yes, yeah. Actually, I'm at that business expo. There was a presenter that's all they do is franchise businesses and stuff. So I have them in my contacts. I'm not ready for it right now, but yeah, we could go brick and mortar depending if whatever opportunity comes up. I take it into consideration and then go off of that. But I'm not stuck on like one specific plan. This business has even setting up my tent is different setup every time we go to
Right,
different
right.
locations. So it's we got to be very versatile and
Well, we're going to cheer for you regardless of what business model you choose. But just
yeah.
out of curiosity, as you learn the business aspects of all this, if you think of fast food, I can easily, hamburgers, and I think McDonald's, Burger King,
Yeah.
In and Out, et cetera, et cetera. In the food truck world, are there some big players um, that really have built big volume food truck business on the franchise model? Are there Who are the
Um,
big labels or
well, the one I mentioned that they're about to open their 100th truck this year, that's Cousin Maine's Lobster, and I'm not sure how fast their service is. I haven't like actually.
right,
They
right.
come to the closest I've seen them come this way is like to Gilroy,
Okay.
and I haven't had a chance to try it, but I think I could give McDonald's a run for their money on the service. Though we're pretty quick on between your order. Sometimes we even have it before you're done paying. So we got it down to the second and
Okay,
stuff.
sounds
So
good. Yeah, no,
so it,
that
and
was part of their formula in the beginning. We're fast.
yeah, so yeah, and actually, I made a video and when we were going viral in San Jose about like asking people how fast.
Yeah.
And this girl says, "Oh, like 5 minutes," and we're like, "Oh, okay, no, not you." I like, it did not take no 5 minutes.
Well, and you mentioned so you've had the experience of going viral relatively. I'm not sure what the definition of viral, how many views it is, but obviously you had a lot of success. So, and and I mean, I heard that you did have quite the social media following. So you're obviously thinking about marketing. How does all that work in your mind, and why the commitment to that particular form
Ye-
of marketing?
Yeah, I think nowadays everything's on social media. Everyone's on their phone and stuff. So I think I've never tried any other outlet like news or radio and stuff. I have heard like from other like people that I look as mentors. They tell me they've spent money on the radio and like it hasn't worked out for them. I've done it with Yelp. I've also like trial and error, right? But I've been doing like I want to say like quality content for a while, mostly like pictures and still photos. I always have like try to have a professional cameraman, and then within the last year I've been becoming a TikToker, I guess, or I don't like to refer myself as an influencer. I do it not to be famous, but for my business to get more
Right,
exposure.
right, right.
But yeah, I think if you're not online, you kind of don't exist unless you're like a more established business. But for me, since I'm a pop up and I don't have like a set location, the social media is what kind of keeps me relevant and on people's minds and stuff.
So how do you break down the various, for lack of a better word, outlets? So if it's TikTok, you're after a younger crowd. I'm presuming Facebook is an older crowd by and large. I mean, have you broken things down that specifically in terms of target audience?
No, no, I am aware of like targeting different audiences and stuff, but for the most part, we post the same video on all of our platforms. Like the Instagram one goes straight to Facebook, and then the TikTok one, and it's the same thing. We might post them at different. We do take into consideration when people are online the most, like peak hours or whatever. But other than that, like we don't really like target specific audiences. I think people from all ages really look at our stuff and come by and support us.
You know what I was struck by, and I want to talk a little bit about the product because you do get excited about potatoes,
Oh yeah.
and so I want to talk a little bit about that in terms of sourcing. I was a produce guy, and once upon a time I was working with the Outback Steakhouse people, and they were famous at the time when they were a really hot chain for their bloomin' onions,
Oh okay, yeah, I remember
and
that.
which was obviously a huge product, but in a lot of respects, it wasn't necessarily a byproduct, or it was to some degree, but from the onion industry standpoint, what do I do with these big onions? And lo and behold, here comes Outback Steakhouse, and so that was a good match. I mean, your product, you have a certain size. It's a big potato. There's a real presentation component to it.
Yeah.
Uh, is it hard to get that size, or is it something you have to? Uh, how do you source things? Do you have to have contracts, or does the open market generally work well enough
Uh,
for you?
no, we get our stuff from like a wholesale produce. There's a
Okay.
there's a bunch here in town that we work with, and we just have to give them a heads up. We usually order like by the pallet and stuff, so usually they don't tend to have them like in stock that same day. But yeah, no, we ask for a specific account. I mean, all the boxes are the same size, so
Yeah.
we ask for a specific count, which determines the size, and we just order a little bit ahead of time just to give them a heads up and not clean them out.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
And well, and you're right. There are a number of wholesalers. So really, it's kind of obviously you have the truck and people, but
Mhm.
beyond that, it's kind of a lower overhead model. I mean, obviously no bricks and mortar, but you also don't have to worry about warehousing and that type of thing.
I actually
Or do you?
Yeah, yeah, no, I actually do have we have a warehouse, and people also don't take into consideration when they're having these events that like, especially for my operation, like I have rent from my warehouse because I like to separate my home from my business.
Sure.
So I have two little girls, so I like to just keep it separate, and when I'm there, I'm there and try to be present. But yeah, we have a warehouse, we have insurance, we have payments on, well, now this food truck, people think that because I'm on the internet, I'm doing like numbers and stuff, but I really, like, I had to take a loan out, so
Yeah.
no, there's a lot of costs that go, and then just to pull up to an event, like I'm already in the hole like $1,000 or something, so I gotta
Yeah.
make sales, but yeah, no, there is a lot of even though we're not in the brick and mortar like overhead like category, there's still a lot of overhead.
There's a different type of
Yeah,
overhead
yes,
that people aren't aware of.
yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah,
So okay.
yeah.
Uh, so in obviously the soccer, how else do you? So when you look to expand your business, which is something you're looking to do now, how do you target? I mean, obviously San Jose, bigger market.
Yeah.
How do you break in, or how do you evaluate? You do start at farmers markets, or how what are the market segments? As a produce guy, I might think about retail, food service,
Yeah.
uh, deli, that type of thing. How do you look at the world?
How do I like break into that
Yeah,
market?
well, in terms of where do you think there are market opportunities? I mean, you can grow through expanding your fleet, but if you also are there the equivalent of market segments like, okay, if I can hang out in soccer complexes, I'm going to do well. Do you want to be are football games target? What are your targets?
Oh yeah, yeah. For the most part, I'm trying to, every year we get like one or two more, but my gig is more like bigger festivals where the people are already at. So although we do like all the social media stuff, really like where I make most of my sales is at these events that already have people there and they're already willing to spend money. Like, so they don't really have to think about. They have to just think about what option they want to get, but they're already like they already kind of had thinking like they already have like the money set aside to spend it anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So that, yeah, so my gig is more like going to these festivals where all the people are at, and the farmers markets are cool to be known like locally and stuff, and like to have a little like a steadier sort of thing. But like the big ticket items are like the bigger festivals.
And is it competitive to get a space? I was somewhere else the other day, and there was a competitive potato truck, and I
Mm.
was very loyal. I walked by. I said, "I'm only buying from La
Oh my
Papa."
god, I appreciate that.
But when, but for instance, if there's and I'm a little rusty on my fair times. If you were in Paso Robles, that's not the Mid-State Fair. That's later in the summer. But if you get a very popular venue, does it get
Yeah.
competitive to have that opportunity?
I'd at least I think a bigger venue like the Mid-State Fair, they probably allow like more than one of the same item,
Right,
which
but is it still hard to just is space hard to get, or
um
generally not?
not when you have like a specific something different than what they already offer. Um, but man, those state fair stands are like my setup I think is legit, but theirs are just crazy. They're like 30 feet, 20 feet tall, and they're just so big that they kind of intimidate. Even they intimidate me. Like how big. I don't think my setup is. I'm not afraid to go if I get invited to Mr. Fair. I'll pull up, but um, yeah, I don't think we're ready for the something that mass. We could do it, but I think my stand needs a little bit more work on making it bigger and stuff.
Oh, okay,
And it's
interesting.
also like I'm so busy. I handle all the back end right now, and sometimes I even let like leads fall through the cracks because I can't keep up with it. So, like I said, every year we add like one more big event to our calendar, and one day we'll be there at the Mid State Fair for sure. So,
Well, I'm intrigued. But you're a young guy. You've got a young family,
yeah,
and there's no plan B.
no.
So you must be thinking about growth. Is this just as you think about? Is this something 10 years from now? Are you still doing this?
Yeah, yeah, and actually, like I've spoken to other vendors and people that sell potatoes also, and he's an older gentleman. He told me, like, yeah, I could do this for another 10 years, and that's when it kind of like that idea started popping in my head where he's like, I could do this for another 10 years, but like he told me I'm getting older, and I can't, like, it's very physical work. Each case of potato is like 50 pounds, and we move like 10, 15 of them.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you break a sweat. So then it kind of like opened my eyes to like, oh yeah, like definitely take other things into consideration. Like, I mean, right now we're like, luckily my wife and I we're lucky to have our own home, and right now we're converting the garage into a studio. So preparing for the future of
Okay.
having like something to rent and stuff. So yeah, I think we're gonna move into the direction of hopefully owning properties and being able to rent them. Because yeah, I can't do it forever if I'm the one in there doing the physical stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
more I grow, like the more I implement like managers and stuff like that. So
Okay.
a lot of times people don't even see me at the stand, and they'll tell my coworkers like, "Oh, I bet you he's just at home kicking it," which I wish. Like, that's
Okay.
never the case. If you
So
don't see me at
so
the stand, I'm working somewhere else.
there you go. Well, noted for the record. Well, listen, I'm really glad we got a chance to get together and visit and learn about what your business and the thing that like kind of finishing where we started. I really am struck by just a lot of the young talented entrepreneurs in the community that and you mentioned in Mexico that's a very common thing to just you're working for yourself, and I'm sure starting to see a lot of that energy all over the community. Uh, and so my last question is because it obviously takes a lot of work and time to do what you're doing, but is there kind of a fraternity, so to speak, where you get together and compare notes, or you kind of know who's in the game, like yourself, young, trying to make it happen?
Yeah, there's, you make friends, especially I like the whole reason I like doing the tents and everything is that you get to meet a lot of people, and then you get become friends with the people vending around you, and you see different events, run into different people,
Okay.
and depending on who becomes your friend, you start like comparing, I guess you could say like notes and stuff,
Yeah.
and also you look up to like bigger guys that are, looking for mentorship and stuff. So I just do my own thing. I don't compare myself to nobody. Like, I don't even consider the next guy doing potatoes my competition either. Like there's enough for everybody. And I hate when people come up to me and they're like, oh, yours is the best. This guy sucks. And I'm like, well, you could just leave it at you like mine, and you don't have to put
Yeah, no,
anybody else down.
and I certainly think I certainly think that's the right attitude. And
Yeah.
the trick is, and certainly from my perspective, Salinas is on the move. It's growing, so hopefully a rising tide that lifts all boats.
Oh yeah, the Rising Tide,
So
The Monterey support group. Shout out to them.
there, there, there you go. Well, listen, good. Thank you for coming in the studio, and then
Yeah,
we're gonna look forward to doing some video on site,
yeah.
and I will scrimp calories before I come because once again I'm planning on you blowing my diet.
Oh
So
yeah, no, we can't wait to have you at the stand and
okay.
make a little some content with you. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This is cool. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to say that before, but
No.
now this was a great. This is awesome, and it was very easy to talk to you and stuff.
Good.
So
Well,
this is
good. Well, that's the idea. I
yeah,
think podcasting should be just a good conversation, and I think we had one. So thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to join us, and to be continued at on site.
yeah. We'll
So
see you at La Papa.
there you go. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, no,
Thanks,
thank you,
Alexis.
thank you.
Okay. Very good.